David Robinson Show
on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation.
And good evening, and welcome to the David Robinson Show. Real talk, real people, real conversations. Tonight, once again, positive people doing positive things to make a positive difference in their lives and in the lives of others. I have the distinct privilege and honor to introduce my viewers who are watching someone who is definitely making a positive difference in her life and in the life of others. And without further ado, Miss Siobhan McMillan.
Thank you.
Someone that I had a chance to actually work with on some projects. And she has some upcoming events that we're not going to really discuss at this point. But I want you to tell the viewers a little bit about you. And as a successful entrepreneur, a woman that can inspire and tell other women a little bit about how to be successful in spite of obstacles that may present itself.
Okay, how much time do we have? How to be successful as an entrepreneur and as a woman. I would probably say the one thing that really enabled me to keep going through all of obstacles is the ability to keep my mind. Being able to keep your mind is really important because you have the world telling you who you are, who you're not, what you can be, what you can't be, where you belong, where you don't belong. But when you have a strong mindset and you've defined who you are and what you want for yourself, then it's like you're unstoppable. The world is always going to have something to say, and you can't control anything outside of you. But what I can control is how I decide to process the situations and the events around me.
And the key thing you said, your mind. And you are one that I believe that have a tendency in the profession that you do to tap into people's mindsets. And before we get into exactly what you do, what inspired you exactly to want to be a psychologist?
A psychologist. So it was actually a path and a process to that. I actually didn't know what I wanted to do. When I was in high school, I majored in music. I played, jazz on the saxophone, the clarinet. And so when I decided to go to college, it was, I'm going to major in music. And then I changed it because I didn't see a future in me just being a musician. So I remembered being in high school and studying microbiology. And I said, I'm going to be a microbiologist. And chemistry was like, no, you're not. And my brain was like, I do not compute. So I dropped that off. And for the next few years, I just worked, and that was it. And then I had my oldest son, Legend. And when Legend turned 3 years old, I realized that he needed to have a role model, someone to look up to. And in a world of people that I don't really know who all of these people are, but I know that I love him and I know that I want to be a positive influence in my son's life, I had to ask myself, what do I need to do to be successful? So when I went back to college, I decided to major in broadcast journalism, pick up a minor in philosophy. And the minor in philosophy is what drew me into psychology, because what you're dealing with is just a whole bunch of people who say, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth. And I was able to find accuracy in everything that these philosophers were saying. But then my mind was like, but how did you arrive at that truth? So then we get into the mind aspect. And because I was curious how they arrived at the conclusions, like what was their upbringing, what was their life, it made me start thinking like, why do I act the way do I act? Why is my mom like that? Why does my ex act like that? So it drew me into just being very inquisitive into how we think, how we process things, and how is it that your life is like that, but this person's life is like that? What makes the difference? And the difference is the mind.
Wow. And how long have you been doing what you're doing?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years on paper, but I'll say that I've been a psychologist for quite a few years. I've always kind of just sat and observed how people are.
Wow. And, I can say to you, you're someone that I met, and, to be successful at what you're doing, and some of the pitfalls and obstacles that you had along the way, you stayed focused. And you're one that talk about the mind. What would you say to the viewers? What was the key element, a couple elements that made you stay focused?
So the first thing is when you make up your mind to do something, you have to be like what spiritual text talks about, like the tree planted by the water. I cannot be moved. I've done some things that people would probably think were completely asinine. When I moved here to Baltimore from Oklahoma, I recently purchased a house, and after purchasing it, I had 2 jobs. I quit both of my jobs. I lost a baby, had a miscarriage. I had an employer that lied on me basically to my patients that I was working with. I had my mother kind of turn her back on me because we weren't seeing things eye to eye. And even though life does what life does, when you make up your mind that you want to do something, you just have to believe in yourself, because it's like I said before, the world is always just going to have something to say about it. And there are parts where you break, and it's nice to have friends and family and people to call on. I think it's important to have some sort of faith, something that you believe in. I think it's important to read and watch movies of who the hero is, because really, your life is your book. This is the book of Siobhan. No disrespect, but it's not the David Robinson book for my life. What you think about me, what you say, or what situations happen, I can't allow those things to define me. Because when I get to the end of this book and the end of my chapters, when I reflect back on what I did and where I've been, how did I stand up? And I think always having in the forefront how I'm going to be perceived. How will my kids perceive me? How do I want to show up in the world? Those are things that also help me keep my mind in check. So when the employer wants to say something negative and I'm thinking about retaliation and I could do this, and this. Okay, but how did I just show up in my book? And I think, karma, I believe in karma. What you throw out comes back to you.
Exactly.
And I want a life of peace. I want a life of pleasantness, and I want a life of success. And I want to live a life that leaves a legacy for my children and all the other children that I have. I don't know their names and their faces. And those are the things that help me keep my mind and to be successful, because I want to have a legacy of success.
And I know for a fact, because I've had a chance to actually work with you on a project that we're presently working on.
Yes.
We'll get a chance to discuss once we actually take a break. We're going to come back and just talk about a little bit more about you and your success. And I think that a lot of times in life, we all have obstacles.
Yes.
And no matter what happens, a winner never quits and a loser never wins.
Exactly.
So you had a mind. But you got a mind that's locked and loaded. Can't nothing stop you. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with Siobhan McMillan.
We must secure our families. KFG Life Insurance Specialist is a company that partnered with 15 of the top life insurance companies to ensure you get the best pricing, knowledge, and products to suit your family needs. Some people believe that term insurance is better than whole life insurance, while others feel the complete opposite. Some may feel like universal life is the way to go, and others may feel it's better to have a whole life policy. The truth is, neither of the products are better. One just may be more suitable for your family. Our life insurance specialists are not biased, as they are partnered with several life insurance companies. This ensures our clients get the best pricing, education, and products that are suitable for their families. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist make these decisions easier for you and your family. Our office is located at Security Square Mall, next to Burlington, in the Coyoteman Show Network. Please call to make an appointment at 443-400-5224 or go to www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. That's www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist help you prepare your family in the present, because the future is not promised. Act now.
You're watching The David Robinson Show
on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation.
And welcome back to the David Robinson Show. Real talk, Real people, real conversations. And my viewers that are watching, don't forget to download the Coyoteman Show Network for those who have iPhones and
Androids.
There you go. You can go down to on your app store and download the Coyoteman Show Network, and you'll be able to watch our show. Continuing, Miss Siobhan McMillan here in Baltimore, making some major things happen. Along with your going to school for psychology and different things, you also had the opportunity to major in theater as well, right?
I guess you could say that, yeah, broadcast journalism. I did some acting in high school.
Okay. And I want you to tell me a little bit about this project that you're working on called Loving Me.
Oh, I think it's a beautiful project. So I'm assistant directing on a play with my dear friend David Robinson. And the play is called Loving Me. And it just deals with being in a narcissistic sort of relationship, equating love to materialistic things, and getting yourself to a point where you realize that who you are and what you want for yourself is bigger than anything that money can purchase.
Wow. I'll just say this, it's been a pleasure to definitely work with you, to see some of the skills that you have and working with the different personalities and bringing people together to actually have a successful show. So I'm really excited, looking forward for the completion.
Yes.
That's what we're looking for.
Yes. Oh, the completion.
Yes. It ain't been easy.
No, it hasn't.
But here we go again, talking about obstacles.
Yeah.
And obstacles do happen. And I think a lot of times, as been a single mom before you're entering into your relationship that you have now, being a single mom and having all those different things and the determination and drive, what would you say to some of the single moms that are actually watching you right now, that may have dreams, they may have goals or things that they may have, but they may not feel like they are good enough because they may have children, a life itself may be in the way, like you said, family.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them to encourage them?
The first thing I would say is, like I said before, define what it is that you want. You don't worry about how you get there. You just write it down. I want to be this. I want to have this. I want my kids here. I want to be a millionaire. If you want to write that down, you don't worry about how you get to Z. You just know that you're at A and write down what you want. And then after you write it down, just leave it there. And then past that, part of, for me, of having a strong mind, what I did was, I used to love for people to say what I can't, because that means I'm going to do it. The fact that you said I can't means that I will.
Come on now.
When they say that success is the best slap in the face to anybody who try to hold you down and keep you back, and life circumstances that come up, the biggest slap in the face is to say, I'm going to be successful anyway. And believing in yourself. And it's a process to getting there. Like, Siobhan is my name, right? My given name. Siobhan went through a whole process to become who I currently call Morally. Morally is the end product. And so I think thinking that all of your trials and things that you're going through is a process to who you're inevitably going to become, that end product, keeping your eye on the end product of yourself, is motivation as you're going through all of the turbulence and twists and turns of life. That was the biggest thing for me, I think, is that life is a process. And I'm trying to get to become that quality, high value product at the end of it. And keeping my mind on the end and not the process gives me the energy to keep going. And then when you get to that final product, right, like there's still another process. There's gonna be something else that comes up. There's something else that you wanna succeed at. It's a never ending thing.
I like the fact that you said, write it down. Mm-hmm. The scripture said, if you have a vision, write the vision and make it plain. Mm-hmm. Most people don't write down their visions.
Yeah.
So if you have something that you want to do, it's all scripture, write it and make it plain. And then you have to write that and let it become a part of you. Mm-hmm. Look at that thing every day. till it becomes a party, till you can see it before you even actually do it.
Yeah, I look at like paper it comes from a tree, right? And they say that in the beginning, was the word, and the word is life. So if I'm writing on paper, it's kind of like I'm writing on the tree of life, right? Like what I want and making it real.
And you have, and you will.
Yeah,
succeed.
I'm still in the process. Yes, yes, it's definitely important.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really been great. And then we're not gonna. I know you have some things that are actually coming up that we're not gonna discuss as of yet.
Yes.
So I'm just really excited for you. I really am.
Thank you very much.
And I thank you for also. You have your family in the audience as well too.
I do. We all need moral support. Yeah.
So thank you for having them as well. Come on, and so before leaving, in 3 words, what would you say? In closing, some positive information that you've already given, but how for those that want to get in contact with you, as far as not on your business aspect but just as a woman, what would you, if they wanted to contact you to get some positive information from you?
Oh, I definitely have my website up, which is morallyaligned.xyz, so they can reach me that way. You talking about ways to reach me?
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah. If you feel free to also text, don't call, text 443-761-0345. And gosh, a third way that they can reach me?
Well, just 2 ways would be good.
Okay, we're gonna give them 2 ways right now. You got the phone number, you got the website. I am reachable.
Yeah. I think it's good. Iron sharpens iron. And I think that sometimes in life, we'll overcome by our testimonies.
Yeah.
I believe what you give out, it eventually comes back to you, whether it's positive or whether it's negative.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for you and looking forward. I was wanting to share, but we can't.
But we can share that I'm my profession.
No, I mean, you have an event that's coming up this week.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get into it as of yet. So I'm really excited about that. It's almost like a premiere movie. You're going to watch it and you really can't tell and you really can't do this and that. So, but I just say thank you. And thank you for coming on my show. And then after Thursday, we look forward to having you come back sometime in the future to tell about your success and this avenue, what you're doing. So
most definitely, because it's growing.
Yeah. Well, thank you once again, Miss Siobhan McMillan.
Thank you, David,
for being on my show.
Yes.
And thank you once again for watching the David Robinson Show. Real talk, real people, real conversations. Until next time, peace out.
You're watching the David Robinson Show
on the Coyoteman Show Network.
Real talk, real people, real conversation.